Welcome, everybody. So grateful to get to practice with you. We've got a lot of our favorite moments of last week with even more fun new additions, some new approaches to poses that I'm excited to explore with you guys, and my favorite new transition. And of course, I will tell you when it's happening so that I can get feedback and find out if you love it as much as I do. And with that, we can begin with just a little bit of feeling inside, and I'll let you know when to hit play on the first track if you're following along with our music. And begin by noticing your base, so your pelvis, your legs, anything contacting the earth, and give yourself permission to back up a little bit. If your hips feel tight or your low back feels tight, you can cross the ankles almost like how a little kid would sit, and let the knees be up a little higher, or whatever is most sustainable for you. And then try to observe the natural flow of your breath. And this is actually really hard. We often manipulate the breath. We try to take a deep breath or direct it. And right now we just want it to be so natural. Our breath is a lot smarter than we are. So let's try to follow our breath instead of making our breath follow us. You're all very smart though, of course. And as the breath gently fills the body and then gently releases, just become aware of the edges of your physical form. And the more aware you become of the body, the more you may notice areas of tightness, of tension, areas of support, areas of asymmetry. As you notice any of these things, just give yourself permission to adjust, to shift the weight, to let your position be as fluid as your breath flow. And then we'll start to incorporate some really gentle movements, just as gentle and natural as the breath. And try to hold this same space of awareness as we begin to move. If you're listening to our playlist today, you can hit play on the first track. It's called Chi Hei for anyone joining in to the recording later. As you're ready, just gently cross the ankles and support your knees, slowly lifting them so the soles of the feet can come to the earth in front of you and the hands can grip around the front of the shin. And bring your awareness to your sit bones, so the base of your pelvis, and depending on your soft tissue, it might be really easy to feel them. It might be really challenging to feel them. You can close the eyes and just imagine all of your awareness at the base of the pelvis, and we'll start to make some little circles. Allowing the weight to gently shift from side to side, and allow the legs to respond. Like the way if you're holding your legs, if it feels rigid or like you can't explore your hips, it can become a little softer, a little more fluid. The elbows can bend and extend. Just let the body follow these circles in whatever way makes them as comfortable as possible for you. And then as it's comfortable, allow the circles to get big enough that one foot plants at a time. So as the weight shifts to one side, it's easier to push into one foot, and then as it shifts to the other side, you'll notice the pressure moving, traveling to the other foot. So it's almost like a subtle rolling in a big circle from hip to foot to foot to other hip. And as we massage the bottom of the pelvis and the soles of the feet, if the thighs and hips want to open a little more, give them that space, letting them soften so this movement can be as fluid and natural as possible. And switch the cross of the ankles just to keep things balanced. It might feel different, so give yourself permission to adjust as necessary. And then we'll keep going with our circles and go the opposite direction. You can start to notice more of the torso now, leaning towards the legs, leaning to one side and then back. You don't have to tell your core to engage, but you may notice the support from the center of the body emanating out towards the pelvis and legs, towards the shoulders and arms. This connection point in the middle of our body. And then let the movement get smaller and smaller until you're back at center with the spine. Cross the right leg in front and allow the knees to fall open any amount that's comfortable, and just pause and notice if your connection to your base has changed at all. And now we'll begin our sequence, and the hands can stay on the thighs, and we'll just make some gentle circles with the spine. And notice any sense of ease now that the legs are anchored into the ground. You might notice it's easier to make bigger circles. There might be more fluidity in the connection between pelvis and spine. Go the opposite direction. As you come back to center, gently lean back, place the hands behind you, and place the soles of the feet flat in front of you. Lift the right leg and imagine the right foot like a lasso. Make some big swooping actions, or small, depending on how your hip is feeling. And then start to feed the foot through the space between the other foot and hip. And then come back, big circle, and then feed the foot through. And you don't have to go very far. You might notice it's sort of a unique angle with that right thigh. So just notice how you can do that with as much fluidity as possible. And maybe there's not a lot of space. You can try lifting onto the ball of the left foot. See if that helps. And then we'll switch sides. Couple of lassos with the left leg. And as we're just warming up, this might feel clunky and awkward, and it'll be fun to see how much better you get at this throughout class. And feed the foot through, and then come back to your circle, and then feed the foot through, and just do it one more time. We'll be taking this transition on our back eventually where the foot feeds through, so actually observe that so you know what to do when we're on our back. And then set both feet down and push down into the hands for a moment just to feel a sense of buoyancy in the spine and shoulders. And then lower the knees towards the left, to the right. Do this a couple of times, noticing a sense of massage in the back of the body. And the next time the knees go to the left, let the body follow and allow the arm to just glide from the spine. Beautiful. And then we'll switch sides. So knees and then torso and then arm. And then move at your own speed, but just notice that sense of natural movement in the upper body. You can just follow the rolling of the pelvis. Everything knows what to engage without even having to think about supporting the arm. And the next time you sweep over to the left, pause there, extend the legs, bring the right sit bone down, and take a moment in dhanurasana to just sit tall. And then slowly lower one elbow at a time for matsyasana. And we're just warming up, so just push down into the elbows. And don't worry about a deep back bend, but just feel the connection between pushing down into the elbows and a sense of support through the upper spine. Gaze at the feet so the neck is nice and supported. And then bring one knee in at a time and curl the knees in, kind of like a crunch. And extend left leg out. And then as the right leg extends, notice how the spine naturally wants to arch a little bit. And just let that happen. And then left knee in, right knee in, crunch. Left leg out, right leg out, spine extends. One last fish crunch. And then extend and push down into the elbows just for this little moment of matsyasana. Release the body down and be on your back. Just be here and enjoy it for a moment. Feel all of the places contacting the earth, becoming a little softer, a little wider. And then bend the knees just a little bit so you can bring the heels to the ground and start to bounce the heels one at a time slowly towards the sits bones. Kind of like you're marching the legs. But imagine the heels are like a rubber ball. And as each one lowers, it just naturally bounces right back up. And let the leg lift as high as that ball wants to bounce, without you having to do anything with the hip flexors. Let the front of the body, top of the body be really soft here. Just let the legs bounce. And you naturally get to a point where the heels don't really want to get any closer to the sits bone. So just pause there. Dig down into the heels, letting the back line of the body strengthen. And then slowly press the soles of the feet into the earth as you lift the hips. Can make any adjustments to the feet, walking them in a little bit or wider. And then slowly set one vertebra down at a time. Keep your heels where they are, but lift the toes, flexing through the ankle. Dig down into the heel just a little bit. It's okay if the pelvis naturally wants to hover, but it doesn't have to. And then soles of the feet down, hips naturally lift. And gently place one vertebra down at a time. We'll do that just one last time. Point the toes up, push down into the heels, and then soles of the feet down, letting the front of the body unfold. And this time, as the hip slowly lower, allow the arms to float overhead at the same time. And then hover the left foot, and remember that lassoing action. Take a moment to lasso the left foot over the right knee, and then feed the left foot through the space between right heel and right sit bone. And slowly start to push into the right foot so that you can roll onto the left side. And then very slowly and gently with control onto the belly. Keep the knees bent. Glide the hands back and just gently peel the heart off of the mat, but not too intensely. And then stretch the hands and the feet apart. Melt the forehead down. lift the right leg, cross it over the left, and reach it behind you to slowly roll onto the back. And we're going to do that again. So release the hands down by the sides, bounce one heel at a time in towards the sits bones. And then press into the heels, let the sole of the foot flatten, let the hips lift. As the spine gently lowers, float arms overhead, and then lift the left leg, make a big lasso on top of the knee, and then thread the foot through. And try to be as smooth as possible here, controlling your roll by reaching a little more through the right hand, by pushing down a little bit extra into that left thigh. Once you make it to the belly, reach the hands back, lengthen the spine, and then kick the feet back, reach the arms forward, lengthen. Lower the head down, take a moment to rest, and then drag the hands back, peek the heart forward, bhujangasana, lift the right leg, cross it over, and reach the right leg away from you as you push into the hands to slowly roll up into our wide Paschimottanasana like last week. Way to go. You guys got it. And then that momentum, next time you'll notice how it just carries you naturally over to the right. Plant the hands, hug inner thighs together, kind of like a sideways cannonball. And then release the feet down. Right hand over left. Push into the right hand to slowly lift the hips and take a couple of pulses here. If it's comfortable as the hips lift, the left wing can open towards the sky. And really try to feel that outer leg line of the right leg pushing and squeezing towards center to lift the hips up. The next time they lift, step the left foot out to the side naturally for our bent knee, Parigasana. And just take a couple more of those gentle twists now with the foot out. As the arm lifts, bend into the left knee. As the arm lowers, extend the left leg. These can be really small. This is just our warm-up round, so just follow where the body naturally goes and resist the urge to push it anywhere. The next time the hand lowers, push evenly into the hands to send hips towards the heel, and then push down into the right knee. Drag the hips forward, slowly allow the spine to stack, and lift the arms straight up. Push evenly into both legs. So, hi Henry! Good to see you. To slowly lengthen up through the crown of the head. And then release the left hand to the thigh and push down into the right knee, and imagine almost like a flood of energy traveling up from the knee through the hip all the way up the right side of the body. And as that energy travels up, let it flow into a side bend. And then reach the right fingertips to the horizon and sweep them wide, opening back up. Great. So next time we allow that energy to flood up the right side of the body, bend into the left knee. And let's actually try that a couple times before we add our horizon sweep. Let the movement start actually at the knee bending, and then that whole right side of the body follows. Nice. Next time you bend, add in the horizon sweep as the leg extends back to center. Knee bends. Kick into the leg, horizon sweep. Nice. Do this a couple more times with as much ease as possible. Just allowing the body to glide naturally here. Guys look really great. And everyone looks a little bit different, which means I know you're doing it right. The next time the knee bends and you sweep over to the side, pause there. Put a little extra weight into the left foot and push down into the left thigh with the arm so that you can easily extend the right leg into like a short extended side angle. Push into the feet, and we're going to do the same movement here. So horizon sweep with the hand and let that pull you back up. So push into the left leg a little bit and then bend the knee and allow that to initiate the side bend. Kick into the leg, horizon sweep, bend knee, side bend. And take a couple of moments to let these two motions happen together. right? So the knee bends and the whole body follows. The leg kicks and the arm just unfurls. The next time you come up, pause. Turn the feet so they're parallel, like Prasarita Padottanasana. One foot might even be off of the mat, and be okay with that asymmetry. It's good for us. Slowly bend the right knee. Send the hips towards the heel, and don't worry about going very deep. Reach the arms forward, and then power into the foot, opening up to a T. Take a couple on one side before we switch, just so you can really get a sense of anchoring down into that heel. And you don't want to feel any pressure in the front of the knee. If you're feeling pressure, bring a little more weight into the heel, and don't worry about going so low. Next time you come up to T, switch sides, and just take a couple of pulses on that second side. And Santoshi, the feet are parallel, so when you bend into that left knee, it should be tracking. Yeah, there you go. You got it. The next time you come up, pause for a moment at center, press into the feet, reach through the arms, and just imagine radiating energy in all directions. And then slowly bend into the right knee, melt over the leg, plant the hands, and support your way down, keeping the knee lifted as is comfortable. Bring the left sit bone down, and then bring the right heel into the midline, the left heel into the midline, and just pause for a moment. And somehow we're a little off center, so you can awkwardly wiggle towards the center of your mat. Or if you know a way to not awkwardly do that, you can also not be awkward. And just take a moment at center before we do the second side. Just coming back to your base. Notice any sensations in the body, especially through that right side. We did a lot extra with the right arm, so you might notice sensations in the neck, the shoulder, the side body. Maybe you even feel a little bit taller on the right side. And we'll balance all that out on the second side. So we can start with some circles. Whatever size circle feels really natural and supportive. Let the movement come from rocking in the on the sit bones and just letting the spine and the head follow. Go the opposite direction. And then from center, plant the hands behind you, shift the weight back, uncross the legs, and we're just going to do one each side, starting with the left foot, big lasso, and then feed the foot through. And then switch sides. Allow the knees to drop to the right, and then to the left. And we'll add on, so next time they drop to the right, allow the body to follow, allow the arm to glide. And move at whatever pace is nourishing for you. Really trying to feel and let the movement be this natural progression as the knees drop and everything else just unfurls from that. Next time the knees lower over to the right, extend the legs, bring the left sit bone down and pause in dhanurasana. And then sit on the fingertips, bend the elbows slowly, lowering back to Matsyasana setup, and then bring the left knee in and then the right, squeezing everything up for a crunch, and then extend the left leg. And as you extend the right, notice how the pelvis naturally tips a little and the spine can lengthen. And then repeat that. Left knee, crunch, left leg, right leg, extend. One more on your own. And the next time you extend, you can slowly lower onto the back and just pause for a moment and take everything in. Observe a couple of breath flows. And then bend the knees a little bit. Start bouncing the heels. And when they feel like as comfortably close to the sits bones as you want, pause, drive down into the heels just to lighten up the weight of the pelvis. And then allow the soles of the feet to anchor as the pelvis lifts. And then slowly set one vertebra down at a time. Lift the toes, drive into the heels. Flatten the feet simultaneously to lifting the hips. Last one. This time as the hips slowly lower, allow hands to float overhead. Lift the right foot, draw a big lasso over left knee, and then feed the right foot through. And slowly start to shift the weight onto the right side of the body, and then all the way onto the belly. Glide the arms back in a big circle behind you, reaching towards the feet. And then reach the feet back and circle the arms forward, getting really long and staying strong. And then set the body down, lift the left leg, cross the leg over, slowly rolling onto the back, hands beside you. Bend the knees and bounce one heel at a time in. And then drive into the heels and flatten feet as hips lift. Slowly set the spine down as the arms float overhead. Lift the right leg, big lasso. And then feed it through. And slowly push into the left foot. Reach back with the sole of the right foot to control your way onto your belly. Circle the arms back, lengthening up for our dhanurasana prep pose. And then big circle, reach the legs back and circle the arms forward, lengthening. And then set everything down. Drag the hands back to the shoulders and then keep dragging the hands to lengthen the spine. Lift the left leg, cross it over, push into the hands, wide Paschimottanasana, and keep circling to the left. Hug the knees in for a moment, and then set the knees down. Cross the left hand in front. Push down into the left hand as you lift the hips in the right hand. And take a couple of pulses here to really strengthen through the outside of that left leg. The next time you lift, let the right leg just spring out and naturally step where it did, because you guys all look great. And then repeat that nice twisting action. And as the hand lifts, bend into the right knee. Hand drops, let the hips drop, and notice how that leg naturally lengthens. The next time the hand lowers, square the body down towards the knee and tuck the left toes under, shift the hips towards the heel, and then push down into the leg. Guide the hips forward, let the spine slowly stack, allow the arms to reach up, and then back and down. Right hand to the thigh, and take a couple of bends here just naturally, and make any adjustments. Like if it's hard to bend the knee, walk the foot in a little bit more. If there's a lot of pressure in your knee, walk the foot out a little bit. And then we'll add in our side bends. So the next time the knee starts to bend, reach the left arm up and let the spine follow. And then kick into the right foot and sweep the left arm across the horizon. Bend knee, side bend, kick, leg, sweep. And then let the two start to happen simultaneously. The leg leads, the body follows. The next time you side bend, press into the right foot, shift the weight to the right, and slowly extend the left leg behind you for our extended side angle. And then push into the right foot, and as the body comes upright, allow the left arm to sweep the horizon. And then bend the right knee, side bend, kick, leg, sweep horizon. And just take 1 or 2 more. And the next time you sweep the horizon, turn all 10 toes to the side, keeping the feet where they are for our straddle stance. And we'll build on to this movement that we did last time. So you can take 1 to each side, bending into the knee, keeping the weight in the heel, send the hips back, float up. Other side. And the next time you bend into the left foot, spring into that leg, shifting the weight, and take a couple of bounces. And each time you bounce, notice a little bit more weight centering over the right ankle until eventually you feel like you could balance on the right leg. But you can really take your time. The slower we go here, the more stable you'll be when you eventually balance. And you might notice the right side of the body almost catching you, so that right hip doesn't sway out beyond the ankle. Eventually, if you'd like to, you can pause on that right leg or keep bouncing, depending on what feels the most useful to you. And if you're pausing, nice. Just notice the heart beating. You can put the foot down or you can keep challenging your balance for a moment. And then slowly kick the left leg out and power into the left leg through center. We'll do the same thing on the second side. So start with a couple of the squats, and then when you're ready, start bouncing. At first, it's just a little bit, but then eventually it might feel really like you want to bring the weight into that left foot. Yeah, you guys look awesome. Or I should say you look like you feel awesome, because I don't really care what you look like. You could probably throw some hallelujah arms in here, Roseanne, if you want to. Yeah, Jess. Hallelujah. And when it eventually feels natural, you're welcome to pause. When we add on, the leg is going to be dropped in like a dancer prep pose, so you can do that now if you want to, or you can just set the foot down. Wherever you are, notice the beating of the heart. You might even feel a sense of energy traveling through the body. And then extend the right leg out, and just notice if it lands right back where you came from, because the body's awesome. Shift the weight over into the left foot. Slowly bring the hip towards the heel, lowering the hands down. Bring the left knee down. Bring the left hip down. And then drag the right leg in front of the left. And pause. Take that all in. Close the eyes if it helps you be more present to the sensations in the body. And then if you're not centered on the mat, you can just shift over a touch. And that's our first round. So if you want to grab some water, you can. And then we'll be shifting to the second track, which is something like infinite possibilities. Okay, so we'll be building on that sequence. And of course, if your body isn't asking for more in a certain position, just default to what we did in the first round. And I'll try to help you with that too. So give yourself a big hug with the left arm on top. Backs of hands together. Option to double cross, but only if that doesn't create any strain in the arms for eagle arms. And so we'll repeat our circles again. And for this first round of eagle arms, it's sort of nice to keep the arms anchored into the body. And don't worry about circling the elbows too much. That can be kind of intense in the shoulders. But notice if the support wrapping around the spine makes you want to go a little deeper into the circles of the torso. Go the opposite direction. And the next time the hands come through center, pause, push down into the legs, and Slowly allow the spine to stack. Lift the elbows any amount that's comfortable on the shoulders. And then release the cross of the arms so the arms just naturally float open. Press hands behind you, set the soles of the feet down, and just take one lasso right leg and feed it through. One lasso left leg and feed it through. Notice if you're feeling more coordinated. And then drop the knees to the left, let the body follow. Drop the knees to the right, let the body follow. If that feels really good and you want a little bit more, you're welcome to start playing with extending the legs. Just make sure to tuck through the center and then extend the opposite way. And you might not feel ready for that yet, and so you can save it for the next round. The next time the legs come over to the left, extend them if they're not already. Right sit bone down. Fingertips underneath the sit bones and lower elbows. Bring right knee in and then left tuck. Right leg out, and as the left leg extends, allow the body, the spine to extend. And now you can do that again the same way, or you can keep the legs straight. The next time the legs lengthen away from you, slowly recline onto the back. Pause for a moment. Tuck the chin so the base of the skull presses down into the mat. And then bend the knees, bouncing the heels in towards the sit bones. Drive into the heels, let the hips lift, and then set the soles of the feet down. Make any adjustments with the feet and start playing with bringing a little more weight into the right foot. If that feels comfortable, lift the left leg. If it doesn't, keep the foot down or lower the hips actually. So your choice, hips up or down. Take one lasso with the left leg. It's going to be way harder with the hips up. And then feed the left leg through. You have the option to lower the hips. You have the option to reach the arms overhead or keep everything where it is and slowly roll onto the belly into our dhanurasana prep. Reach back for the feet and then kick the legs back, big circle around you, lengthening everything apart. Lower down to take a rest. And then lift the right leg, reach it across, rolling onto the back. We'll do that again. Bounce the heels. And let the legs really spring up. You might notice there's a sense of the back of the leg wanting to unfurl. If that's happening, just go with it. And then drive into the heels. Slowly set the soles of the feet down as the hips lift. Shift the weight into the right foot. Lift the left leg. And we're going to skip the lasso and go straight to threading it through. Keeping the arms down by the body is going to give that outer left arm more of a massage if it's comfortable. Slowly roll onto the belly, reach back. And then kick the legs back, big circle with the arms. Stretch hands and feet apart for a flying shalabhasana. And then release the forehead down. Drag the hands back, reach the heart forward, bhujangasana, but then lift the right leg and stretch it away from you, rolling through Paschimottanasana. Plant the hands over to the right, tuck the legs, cross the right hand in front and push down to lift the hips, let the left arm lift, and then spring the left leg out. If your right knee's off the mat, you can scooch back a little bit to have more support. Release the left hand, send the hips back, and push down to slowly rise up. And then bend into the left knee, side bend. Kick leg, sweep horizon. And just do one more of these. And the next time you side bend, shift the weight into the left leg. Slowly let the right leg unfold beneath you. And then kick into the left foot, sweep horizon, bend knee, side bend. And you might not go as deep into your side bend. It doesn't really matter. We just want this sense of ease and glide. The next time you come up through center, turn the left foot parallel with the right and start to shift the weight into the right foot, reaching the arms forward. And take a couple of bounces, just like we did before. And then we will be adding on a balance sequence on that left leg. So take your time, earn that balance. And once it's there, you can pause on the left leg, squeeze the right thigh in to meet the left. No need to rush. Arms to T helps with balance if you want that. And then slowly reach the right foot behind you and bring the palm to the top of the right foot, setting up for dancer. But instead of grabbing the ankle, we're making the right leg do a lot more work. Push the foot into the palm and the palm down into the foot. And then slowly swing the right leg in front of you. Here, I saw Santoshi, you looking. Next time we do it, it's like this. So it's actually a lot harder, but it's really fun. So swing the right leg forward. Let the right leg cross over the left. And then bring the left arm on top of the right for eagle arms. Option for the double wrap. Or just keep the right leg floating. That's what I'm going to do. Take a moment to squeeze the arms together, squeeze the thighs together, and send the hips back any amount. And then power down into the left leg, springing up. Let everything unfurl and set the right foot down right into your spring. Yeah, and we're going to do that again. So as you're ready, you can bounce all the way over. Take a couple bounces if you need it. And then we'll shift into silent dancer. So the right foot swings behind you, palm to the sole of the foot. Then just gently push down into the foot and up into the hand. You might not go as deep as you're used to, but it'll be a lot stronger. And then swing the right leg forward, cross it over, eagle arms with the left arm on top. And just take a couple of springs, squeezing everything together, letting everything lengthen. And then next time you start to reach up, let everything unfurl, bend the right knee, bouncing. And then slowly send the hips back, and this is going to be a little bit different. We're not going to bring the knee down this time. So release the body over the thigh so you can plant the hands, and then slowly bring the right sit bone towards the right heel. Bring the hips down and reach the right arm long, stretching the side body over the left leg. And then push down into the left heel to float up to neutral. Twist to the right towards that bent knee, and then keep twisting. Roll over the left foot so the toes are down. Plant the hands like a linear pigeon towards the short edge of the mat. Push into the hands and slowly kick into the feet, lifting the hips into a cross-legged down dog. So keep your feet where you are, but just lift into down dog. And then slowly start to release both knees and allow the left knee to be cradled in the arch of the right foot. So we've got a really short pigeon. Squeeze the thighs together and slowly let the spine stack and circle the arms up. And this is, we're going to call this like stable pigeon. And then allow the hands to release. Shift the weight over to the right. Slowly extend the left leg and place the sole of the right foot down so you're back at the beginning, and then let the right side of the body unfurl. And we'll just do that one more time. From here, push down into the feet, reach up, twist to the right, and then keep twisting, rolling on the feet so the back toes can tuck behind you. Push into hands, push into feet, lift the hips for a cross down dog, and then slowly lower the knees to our stable pigeon. Push down into the legs. As soon as the spine lifts, let the arms reach up and back. And then circle the arms down and forward. Release the right hip. Extend the leg, sole of the foot down. Take one more side bend just because it feels so good after that sequence. And then push down into the legs. Reach up, right heel in. Cross the left leg in front and just pause. You may notice some asymmetry in the body. And just try to identify with the areas that feel more spacious, more springy, more tingly and light. And as we've done a little bit for the arms, we have the option for a less awkward transition to center. If you feel up for it, you can push down into the hands and just swing the legs over a little bit, down into the hands, swing the legs over a little bit. Your body might not want that, so then you can just, do one of these. And we'll meet at center, left leg in front, and just pause before we repeat that the exact same way on the second side. And so now, big hug with the right arm on top. And then bring the backs of the hands together. Option to double cross. Just make sure that feels okay in the shoulders. And then start making your circles from the bottom of the spine, just letting everything follow. You can go the opposite way. And then the next time you circle through center, pause down low, push down into the legs to slowly stack the spine, and then reach the elbows up any amount. You can lift and lower the elbows a couple times just to massage through the shoulders. And then allow your wings to fly open, and just notice that sense of the body wanting to expand. Plant the hands behind you. We can skip our needle threads. You guys got that down now. So knees to the right, body follows. Knees to the left, body follows. Option the next time you go to the right to extend the legs and then tuck through center if you're extending the legs. Just make sure if you're extending the legs, there's no tension in the low back. You might really want that deeper extension through the back of the body, but just check in. The next time the heels go to the right, bring the left sit bone down, pause in dhanurasana, and then sit on the fingertips, lower one elbow at a time, and left knee in, crunch, left leg out, right leg out, spine unfurls. Option to stick with the bent knee or to play with straight legs. And just check in with the hip flexors. It can be really intense one way or the other. And just make sure there's a sense of the legs feeling really supported and not building tension. Next time the legs unfurl, pause for a moment in matsyasana. Drag the hands to the short edge of the mat behind you and just notice if that helps you unfurl the front of the spine. And then release the arms, recline. Observe a couple of breath cycles. You might notice that the breath you feel out of breath, or the breath is quicker. And just start to bounce the heels in. And let the legs unfurl towards the sky, each bounce, if that feels natural. And then both heels down. Dig into the heels. Feel the back line of the body energize. Pelvis gets light. And then plant the soles of the feet at the same time that the hips lift. Adjust the feet any amount. Reach hands towards heels for more stability. And then slowly lift the right leg. Option to place the hips down. Actually, let's all do that. Let's all place the hips down. And then option to drive into the left foot to lift the hips. So you have to choose it. And then lasso the right leg over the knee. And then thread it through. Option to reach the arms overhead or keep them where they are for an extra arm massage. Slowly roll onto the belly and really try to control the roll. So I could yell freeze at any moment and you'd be able to do that. Reach the arms back, letting the whole front of the body lengthen. And then circle the arms forward as you kick the feet back. And then melt everything down. Pause. And we'll do it one more time. So left leg lifts and crosses to slowly roll you onto your back. Hands alongside the body. Bounce the heels in. And then drive into the heels. Weightless hips. Soles of the feet down as the hips lift. Slowly reach the right leg up, and we'll all lower the hips down. Option to drive into the left foot to lift the hips. Skip the lasso and just feed the foot through, and slowly ooze your way onto your belly with as much control as possible, silently floating into dhanurasana. Reach the hands back, and then big circle with the arms. Keep all that strength as you reach hands and feet apart, and then lower down. Drag the hands underneath the shoulders, reach the heart forward, lift left foot and push into the hands to spiral to the left into Paschimottanasana. Nice. And then keep on twisting to the left, squeeze the knees together, cross the left hand in front, and push down into the left hand as you lift the hips in the hand. One more time, but this time let the right foot unfurl off to the right. Adjust the left knee so you've got some support. Tuck left toes, hips to heel, and push down to slowly unfurl the body. Bend the right knee, let the body follow, and then kick into the right leg and sweep the horizon. One more of those. And then we'll take it to the next height. So the next time the side body lengthens, right hand on thigh, shift a lot of weight into the right foot, and slowly let the left leg just naturally extend like it's filling with water or air. Pause in Utthita Parshvakonasana, and then kick into the right leg as you sweep the horizon. Bend the knee, melt to the right. One more of those. And the next time you lift up, turn the right toes parallel to the left foot. Bend into the left knee, reach the arms forward. You can crouch as low as you want here. And then start to spring into the left leg, shifting the weight to the right. And take your time, really earn the balance. The more you do this, the more the lateral line on the right side is going to support you in your balance. And eventually, when you feel that support, you can squeeze the thighs together and pause. And then point the right knee behind you, sole of the left hand to the left foot, and gently push hand and foot together to lift any amount. And it might be like 1 millimeter. That's okay. Swing the left leg forward, cross it in front, right arm on top, eagle arms, and gently squeeze everything, condensing, sending hips back, bringing elbows towards knees, and then bounce, letting everything unfurl. And just take a couple of these undulations. The next time you start to move upward, let everything expand, bend the left knee and bounce. And take as many bounces as you need. We'll make our way over eventually and repeat that sequence again. So whenever you're over on the right foot, left hand to foot, point the knee behind you. Right arm can reach up or wherever is comfortable. Just gently push the hand and the foot together. And then swing the left leg forward, bend the knees. Left leg on top, right arm on top. And just take a couple of pulses in eagle. Nice. Then as that energy starts to travel upward, let everything unfurl, bend the left knee back into that bounce. And then now start to control the left leg a little bit more, bringing the sit bone towards the heel. If you need some support, you can lower the hand so it's not too intense on the knee, and eventually bring the hips all the way down. So the sole of the left foot is down, the knees up towards the sky. And then we'll twist gently to the left, reach the left arm over to the right, and then allow the right arm to come inside of the foot, lengthening the whole left side of the body. Gently twist to the left, and then keep on twisting. Bring the left knee down and roll onto the right toes. Tuck the right toes under, push into the hands, keep the left foot where it is, and lift the hips for a cross-legged down dog. And then set the left knee down, set the right knee down, and push down into the legs for our stable pigeon. Big circle with the arms. Hands down, Left hip down, extend the right leg and bring the sole of the left foot down and unfurl the spine to the right. We'll do that one more time. Push down into the legs to float up. Gently twist to the left. Keep on twisting into like a pigeon plank and then push into the feet. Lift the hips cross-legged, down dog. Lower the knees. Push down into the legs, stable pigeon. Release the hands down, slowly roll to the left hip, unfurl the right leg, sole of the left foot plants, and lengthen over the right leg, any amount. Now as we pause here, allow the left leg to walk out any amount that makes us more comfortable. And then push into the legs to slowly rise up. Bring the left heel in. Bring the right heel in. And pause. Feel free to grab a sip of water. And then shimmy your way to the center of the mat, which could be on your hands, but it doesn't have to be. And we'll take a moment at center. And we definitely don't have time to do that whole sequence again on both sides. But before we start cooling down, because I'm really hot, I don't know about you guys, that was kind of a more intense one than usual, I think. I want you each to have the opportunity to explore something. You know, your body really is ready for a lot. So just do a little scan internally. Are you looking for something more in the legs, something more in the shoulders? You can revisit any pose we've done, and I'm going to give you some options. So you could spend a little extra time in the heart opener of Matsyasana. Could spend some time in these one-legged bridges. You could keep playing with that roll. Or, Mariano, I know you're working with balance, so if anyone wants to come back to standing and do another balance pose. So if you feel overwhelmed and you're like, I can't decide, I will just talk you through something and you can just stay with me. But give yourself permission to explore. Maybe there was a movement that was really exciting and you want to try it again while you're ready for it. And it's amazing to see everybody exploring something. Really inspiring. If you're following me, from cross-legged, extend the left leg out. Place the sole of the right foot in front of you, and just gently twist to the right. And just take a couple of pulses in and out of the twist, and notice the outside of the right leg. As you twist, maybe there's a sense of the hip, the IT band lengthening. You can gaze over the right shoulder. And then keeping the left hand on the knee, sweep the right arm up and over, lengthening to the left. You can stay in this more supported version or let the left arm go inside of the leg. And just gently push into the right foot. Let the right hip lift any amount so it feels really satisfying to reach over to the left. And then push into the legs to slowly rise up. If you want to go into pigeon after that, you can. I really prefer these shorter, more stable pigeons. Oh, fun. Hey Deanna, Satyam just did what you did, but then he played with the dancer hand on the foot, and that looked kind of cool. Just an idea. Oh, good idea, Jess. If you're ever in doubt, oh, and yeah, Davey's doing this too, start rolling. Rolling is like the best default. If anyone was still with me, we'll do the second side of that side bend pigeon combo. So now the left foot plants and the right leg extends. And you don't have to be with me. I love just seeing you guys explore. You can just mute me. Turn your music up. Gently twist to the left. And then adjust the feet so that you feel really spacious here and not cramped. And then allow the left arm to reach up and over to the right any amount. Option to free the right arm. And then really kick into the left foot so you've got the opportunity to let the left hip lift. It makes this feel so satisfying because you get a little bit closer than usual. And then press into the legs to rise up and just take a couple of easy twists to the left. And then option to keep on twisting, roll over the back foot, plant the hands. Sway the hips from side to side a little bit in this pigeon plank. And then like before, if you want to take a moment to lift the hips and lower back down into our stable pigeon. So take a couple minutes to balance out sides if you've done something asymmetrical. And if you can't remember what you've done, don't worry. Your body is perfect, even if you don't do everything symmetrical all the time. And we'll eventually meet on our back with the knees bent and the soles of the feet down, but you don't have to rush to get there. If you still want music, I recommend hitting previous and going to the first track, which is just a little more chill. And so from the back, so imagine the body getting softer. Try to feel more of your body contacting the earth. You can almost imagine that the atoms and molecules are like vibrating a little faster, and there's a little more space between them. And that spaciousness allows you to blend a little more into the air around you and the earth below you. Bend the elbows, pointing the fingertips up towards the sky. And gently lengthen through the back of the neck so you can feel the base of the skull, the occiput, just gently pressing down into the mat. push into the elbows. You can walk the shoulder blades down, and as you push into the elbows and the base of the skull, just imagine a diamond from the base of the skull out to the outer shoulders and down to the center of the back, your trapezius muscle. Just imagine it lengthening in every direction. You can take a couple of breaths. And then float the hands down and release the pressure of the head, and just gently start to circle the weight of the pelvis. One side, and then the back of the pelvis is sort of like right underneath the belly button, and then the other side. And you do have to arch and round the back a little bit, really subtly, to bring pressure to each of these edges. If you find an area that feels really useful to you, you can stay there and just make micro movements, like little tiny circles in place or rocks in place. And then float the arms to a T for stability. Allow the right leg to cross over the left and let the heels be really heavy, and just make some nice easy circles with the knees to massage the outer hips, and let this be really gentle so you're not trying to force anything in your hip rotation. And then go the opposite way. And then slowly uncross the legs and reach the soles of the feet to the sky, and just give the legs a little jello jiggle. So it's really slow and almost like you can feel the flesh of the body pulling away from the bone. And we'll make our way up to seated. And so some options are to just rock and roll on the spine, or to roll over to one side and gently push up, whatever is most accessible. We'll have 10 minutes for meditation and then 10 minutes for shavasana. If you would like to grab a cushion or a chair, or whatever makes this as comfortable as possible, you're welcome to. Great time to pause your music, have a sip of water. Give yourself the opportunity to explore your way to center. You might be there already, or maybe some little wiggles. You've got the awareness. You can feel what your body needs. So just try to listen to whatever feedback it's relaying to you. And then eventually start to settle. We'll work with a really special practice called the surrender practice that comes to us from Swami Rudrananda. And surrender is the ability to digest and process all of our thoughts, all of our tensions, all of our situations, so that we can be fully free of any limitation, any bondage, any tightness, and be our truest, highest selves. So we'll start by just connecting our breath to the heart. Allow the inhale to naturally travel to the heart. And then with the exhale, allow the body to soften, allow the awareness to sink into the heart. Lift one hand and make a fist and squeeze it really tight. And this is sort of how we go through life a lot of the time. Like, we really want something, we really don't want something, something really good happened, something terrible happened. And just allow the hand to soften, allow the fist to gently melt open, and eventually allow the palm of the hand to just be fully open, fully receptive. And this is sort of the process that we're working with on an energetic level. So release the hand down, but imagine that clenching at the heart, or in the mind, or in the gut, wherever you might feel it. And with each breath, naturally let that clenching start to soften. You might feel like relaxing very deeply inside. And when we're in this space of being the open palm, the thoughts can just float on by. We're not grabbing on. To give ourselves an anchor, just keep gently allowing the breath to travel to the heart, and then to soften and ungrip. And if there's anything coming up for you that feels challenging to let go of, that's okay. Just try to feel the wish beyond that thing to be free, to be happier and clearer and less in need of a certain outcome. By redirecting your focus to the breath, to the heart, and to this wish to expand, and it can become just a little easier to unclench that inner energetic fist. And just like the exercise with our physical hand, it feels like a relief when we let something go. It's a relief when we bring our attention inside to the heart instead of in the mind and the thoughts. And so let that motivate you to keep trying in this very gentle, natural way to soften. You're welcome to continue working in this upright position, especially if it feels natural and beneficial. You're also welcome to allow the body to unfurl and soften towards the mat, letting yourself rest and be nourished in Shavasana. And we'll rest here for the remainder of class. And our physical asana practice allows us to release layers of muscular tension and fascial obscurations. And I saw all of you, so I know that you were gliding and you were springing and you were bouncing and rolling and moving so naturally and buoyantly in your own unique way. And then our meditation practice does the same thing on an energetic level. It allows you to connect and harmonize with your natural state in this pure, perfect awareness. And whether you're seated upright or resting on the back, just have a sense of all layers of your being very deeply nourished. And we truly do not have to do anything. It's the releasing of doership, that allows us to tune into our natural state. So for the final several minutes of class, just imagine all shackles of the physical body, of the mind, any energetic tension, imagine that all dissolving. And let yourself rest in this perfect state, your true nature. And just imagine yourself as that ungrasped hand, just open and free. Just keep feeling with that possibility or reality as you make any gentle movements. Becoming more aware of the body without losing sense of that energetic spaciousness, letting the two exist simultaneously. As you feel ready, you can gently explore your way back to seated. There's no need to rush. Eventually we'll meet in seated with hands at the heart. And just take this last moment of class to feel the body as a whole. Feel the space inside of the body and beyond the body. And we'll close our practice with a single Om, unifying our inner world and the physical reality beyond us. After your next inhale, we can chant Thank you all for sharing your practice today. It was such a delight to be with each of you. Namaste. Take care, everybody. Hope you had a great class. Hope you have a great, I'm like, what day is it? Have a great week, or whatever this day means for you. See you soon. Dharma, yay, I think that was our first class together, if not like maybe 8 years ago at Shoshone or something. Take care, Roseanne. Great to see you. Thanks for coming, Devi, and Kelsey and Claudia.
Thank you. That's great, sweetheart.
Great to see you, Tammy. Aloha. Hey, Nomi, am I saying your name right? Oh.